Hello, this is Kim with Fairly Fiber Fun, and today I'm going to do a short review on the Gulf Coast Native Sheep Fleece. It's the first raw fleece I ever worked with. I bought one last year, worked with most of it, bought another one this year, and worked through a small portion, and then I kind of sort of accidentally purchased 6 fleeces. I meant to purchase one, and I ended up getting one of each of the 6 breeds that the Montana farm had. So that was a total mistake, but I'm not upset. I love it. All the fleeces are amazing, and no way could I choose just one. So I'll do a review on each one as I get there. But first of all, I have the Gulf Coast Native Sheep Fleece, which was absolutely filthy. And I'm going to grab what's in my bag. It's what's left, what I haven't taken out to card or process or anything. I've had fiber up my nose today. So here I've got my big laundry bag full of fleece. And I think I've worked through close to half of this. No way. Maybe a quarter of this. It was a 5-pound fleece raw. And I scoured it really well and cleaned it up. And this is the big wad of mess. This is really, really clean. The last one I couldn't get this clean. And it took rainwater to get the other one anywhere near that. So that's what I have left to process. I haven't even touched it. Now, I have in my bowl here, which I don't know why. I grabbed a bowl, shoved a bunch of fiber in it, and said, I'll work through a bowl full at a time. That went great until I started working on the other fleeces. Go figure. So first of all, I have to tell you, I royally screwed up this fleece. I felted the living daylights out of it, and Gulf Coast Native is supposed to be felt resistant. Right, resistant does not mean it won't felt. So when you wash it, don't scour it in boiling water and then dump it out in 40-degree cold weather on the ground to rinse it. You know, I had a sheet out to protect it from the ground, but it's still that, and agitating it like crazy as I tried to scrub the dirt out of the tips. And I would take the tips and I would do this. And I moved the fleece around in the water quite a bit more than I should have. So here is down at the bottom of that, you can see quite a big tangle here. Right there. And that is all waste. That's going to come off in the flicker brush. It's about the best way to handle this fleece is to flick, which puts dirt everywhere. And I've probably done a tutorial on this before. Flick it and see that tangle is completely gone. Of course, you start with the tip end, not the other end, not the butt end. It's wiry. Can you see how wiry that is? It's coarse and wiry, and when I first got it, I thought, oh, this is the most amazing fleece. It's so soft. Goes to show you how much I know, right? So I like to flick and then put the flicked locks in my carders and card it. And I already had a bunch of neps and oils and waste in my flicker brush. I just pulled this out. And this is going in this little box right here. Sorry, I'm all spread out. And all my waste. Some of it is bits that I won't spin. I don't like the texture of them. That's too different from the rest. Or too short, or, you know. I have some cotton plants outside, and I put some of this waste. This box was stuffed full. I mean, it was almost 2 ounces of waste. And I haven't even worked through half the fleece. That's kind of scary. So I put it in around my cotton plants when I repotted them, hoping that the wool would help the soil retain moisture. Now, I don't have my act together, so I'm going to hit pause right quick, and I'll be right back with the fleece, the next step of how I worked with it, so I can keep going on this and not get distracted, which tonight I'm being horribly distracted. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back, and I have carded this fleece into flicked the locks, and discarded the waste, rolled it into roll logs, pre-drafted somewhat to make them a little easier to work with, and then I dyed them using Kool-Aid. And I couldn't find green Kool-Aid, so for this one, which is green, I used lemonade Kool-Aid and green Betty Crocker food coloring gels. It's the first time I've used the actual gels like that. It didn't turn out as dark as I wanted. The reason I used the lemonade Kool-Aid is because I wanted the acid. I didn't want to add vinegar. I did not pre-soak these. I just stuck them dry into the dye pot. And I did about, I don't know, somewhere around 2 ounces at a time for each pack of Kool-Aid. So I've got the mango peach, which is not quite orange. It's a yellowish orange. Kind of looks like the background in this lighting of my house, which that's strictly the ceiling light. So yeah, peach mango. And the next one I did was the mixed berry, which is a kind of a brightish blue. And then I did pink lemonade for this, and I was really afraid when I put this in the dye pot that one pack of Kool-Aid would not be bold enough, and that's kind of what I thought until I got it spun. I started spinning it, and then I really liked it. Well, I wanted to do descending width stripes, but I got roll logs, not a bat, not comb top or a braid. It is roll logs. So I have divvied out. I did this in 2 sections because I wanted 2 skeins that kind of matched. So I started out counting out how many roll logs of each color I wanted to start with. And this one I've got 5 of each color. So I'll spin them up. And I think I started with pink. I need to remember this. Pink. Then I spun the blue. Then I spun the orange. And then the green. And I tried to keep to that, but at one point I totally screwed up and spun it out of order. Okay, so I made knots out of these. I put them all together and I made knots. And I made 2 lines on my drying rack so that I can keep them in sequence and I know exactly where to grab from next when I finish the bit I'm spinning. Well, I spun the first skein up and it worked out beautifully. I had a lot of trouble drafting the more felted fibers, but it wasn't all that bad. So here is the skein in all its glory. Right now it's really stiff and overspun, but I think it turned out really pretty. There's not a lot of tone depth, like light to dark texture, but these colors remind me of Easter eggs, and since I'm doing the striping where I start with the longest bits of color at a time first, and then I go down to where I'm only doing 1 roll log of each color, and then working my way back up because that wasn't enough fiber, so I started working my way back up to longer. So I'm hoping, I won't know, I Navajo plied it to keep the colors together, and that turned out surprisingly well, and it turned out much tighter than I anticipated, but again, I haven't washed this yet, so I don't know how much it's going to fluff. The Gulf Coast native sheep breeds, they do fluff a bit, the yarns do. This has been on the knotty for about a week. I just let it sit, and it's right around, I think, 260 yards, and it's just shy of 2 ounces. Actually, it's just over 2 ounces. And I don't remember, there it is. Okay, I have 260 yards divided by 78 grams. That puts me with 3 1/3 grams per yard or something, whatever it is. and then multiply that, 453.592. That puts me at 1,500 yards per pound grist, something like that, which I don't know, I got, on my other sock spin, I got, I think, 1,800. So I spun this a little heavier, but it was a more dense, it's a heavier fiber, it's a more dense fiber, and it was really hard to draft. So I've just put more twist in it to try and keep it from fluffing too much and try not to let air get into the fiber. So I did a very woolen, excuse me, a very worsted draft, trying to keep as much air out of my spinning fiber as I could. So I haven't knit with it yet. I have been knitting some gloves with the previous fleece. Let me turn this light on. There we go. But I have not knit with this fleece, this spin. I'm actually very precise about how I'm spinning this. I want to make socks out of it because I think I could just throw them in the washer. If not, oh well, I'll find out the first time I throw them in the washer. If they shrink and felt and they're no good, then maybe one of my kids can wear them. Something. Donate them to a baby or something. I don't know. At the very worst, I'll hang them up on my wall and they'll be decoration, right? So that's how far I've gotten with it. I enjoy knitting with my hand spun, but I've never worked with the finer fleeces raw like I'm delving into now with the 6 new fleeces I wasn't expecting. And I'm very excited to be trying those out and comparing with this experience of the more felted fleece, which requires a lot more effort. Like I have to do a gazillion different types of prep just in order, you know, instead of just picking the fleece, I'm pulling locks out and then I am flicking locks and then I'm carding the flicked locks. That's a lot. While with the fleece, the Targhee Debalet fleece that I'm currently working with, it's an absolute dream. I simply pull locks out, stick them on my carder, and card away. I might pull a little bit of vegetable matter out. I might pull chunks of fiber from, I guess, the seconds when the shearer goes over a section that had just been gone over and cuts it a little bit shorter. So you have these little tiny short nubs of fiber that you can't spin, but they'll be great in a dyed up and put into a tweed yarn, which is one of the challenges I would like to do for this Tour de Fleece I'm working on. Now, this spin was supposed to be for Tour de Fleece, but I got antsy and I wanted to try it out. Just spinning samples didn't cut it for me. I wanted more than that. I did spin 2 or 3 different samples with different drafting techniques and different plying techniques, different amounts of twist, and I'm not into samples. I'm just not. I'd much rather just spin away and be happy and do my own thing and go with the flow and be spontaneous than be structured and try to recreate something that I did earlier, which I'm going to try to recreate this in another skein, but I know that I just have to spin as fine as I possibly can without it constantly breaking. Oh. That is incredibly fine right there in comparison to this, which is quite a bit thicker, but it's still all like fingering weight, so it's thin, it's delightful. And after I've spun up the second skein and I've knit, of course after I've washed this one, and I've started a pair of socks with it, then I'll have to come back and review knitting with this fleece versus knitting with the other fleeces. So far, my sock samples are all going to be knit. Sampler socks? The socks that are my knitting samples are going to be knit up in plain vanilla stockinette stitch. Nothing fancy. working on a sock right now with a previous sock spin that's not from raw fleece, and I'm going to adjust the heel. I'm doing them toe up, and usually I just do a simple little heel that just sticks out from the rest, almost like an afterthought heel. I don't do the afterthought, but it's similar to that. And usually it's too tight across the instep, so I'm going to add, in this sock I've started adding a few extra stitches to the back of the sock before I start the heel, and then it'll be that much. I'll have to decrease those when I'm done with the heel. It's been a long time since I've knit toe up, so I'm going to have to look over my notes and a couple of different patterns and get the feel of it again. But my first sock, I was doing 2 at a time, and one skein turned out finer than the other. And the socks were 2 different sizes. One was the right size and the other was too big. So I took out the one that was too big, and I will re-knit it with less stitches. My feet are really tiny, and I'm using size 2 needles, and they are, usually I use 00. When I made these, I used 0 or double, I think I used 0 on the sock and 00 on the ribbing. And that is a very tight fabric, but it's very stretchy. And I made them almost an inch shorter than my foot so that it stretch onto my foot and hug it really tight. I don't like loose, baggy socks. I like the cuff down because you can do the heel flap. And I love the heel flap. It's awesome. But I really wanted to start toe up on these because I didn't think I'd have enough yarn to finish. So I was going to knit until I ran out and then go from there. Just like tie it off and be done with it, or add another yarn maybe, I don't know. So I'll show those another time when I get the heel done, at least on the first one, or when I start the second one. I'll try to do that. But that's not part of this review. And here I am getting distracted, which I said I wasn't going to do, right? It's distraction center over here. It just is. That's life. Today I can't stay focused on anything. I've done like 5 videos to talk about one thing and ended up talking about a gazillion other things instead of the one thing I wanted to talk about. So yeah, this is me and my crazy brain not willing to slow down enough for me to focus. There's just so many things I want to share with you guys, and it's just too much. It's too much. My brain is just going bonkers. There's too many things to plan, to do, and not enough time in the day. So if you guys would help me out, first of all, if you like what you see, please like my videos, like this video, and if you're not already, please subscribe and you'll get new content as it comes out. And comment below in what you would like to see. Maybe that will help me focus if I get some feedback from you guys. You guys know kind of what you want to see more of, and I don't want to just sit here in front of my phone camera or my computer and talk and wave my hands around in the air like I like to do. Yeah. Distracted again. That's me tonight. It's too late. I'm tired. It's my bedtime. It's 8 o'clock. I should be in bed by now. But anyway, it's Saturday and we're staying up late. We had fun at the park today, and I'm focused. See? We're talking about Gulf Coast native sheep today, and I think I'm done talking about them. I probably will not ever buy. I might, but at the moment, I don't think I'll ever buy another Gulf Coast native fleece again, just because it's not that much fun to work with, at least not from a farm that's got a lot of dirt on it. How dirty the fleeces does make a difference. It really, really does. So, sadly, I can't show you the washing process, but I could possibly slip a few pictures in to show you how dirty the water was during the first soak. And if I still have them, the pictures of my drying setup and all that. We'll see if I can find those. I'll slip them in here. Alright, thanks so much for watching and being patient with my crazy random brain that doesn't want to focus. And I'll see you next time. Again, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Like this video so that I know you've watched it, because I feel like I'm So, you know, if people don't say, oh, I like your video, then I think maybe nobody's seen it. And that makes me sad. I want people to see this. Maybe it'll help somebody. Anyway, I hope you liked it. Hope you enjoyed it. And I hope to show you more of my crazy exhaustion at another day. Not today. You've had enough of it today. All right. I'll see you next time. Bye.